Hello, this is Bava, and I'm recording another Gatecrash draft for MagicGatheringStrat. I went 1-2 in my last Gatecrash draft, hoping to do a little bit better in this draft, so we'll see how things go. Alms Beast is pretty great, but I'm sort of leaning towards this Ground Assault. And we can go into a nice Gruul Boros sort of removal. We have Syndic here. It's the only other really great card that might be in Boros, which doesn't affect us too much in Gruul. So I'm going to go ahead and take the removal here. And we'll see where things go. I feel like running an aggro deck tonight, if we can get away with it. The last Gatecrash draft I did, I ran Ortsov. I went 1-2. I had some pretty close matches, actually. I was running a very control-style Ortsov deck with 12 pieces of removal. But I didn't have quite enough power to really get in there and do what I needed to do, so it made it a little challenging to win. That guy's pretty awesome. A 5/5 flyer wins the game. We could still be in blue, but he does cost 7. So that's a little rough for us. What else do we have here? We have Spectacle, some good black removal. We have the 2/4 Blood Rusher. We have the Daring Skyjack, who I quite like. I'm going to go ahead and stay in our Gruul colors. I do like this Centaur just fine. Probably more than the Thunder Fist, and more than the rest of this. So we're just going to go ahead and try and force and see how it goes. The Swine is good here, and the Disciple's good. The Burst is good. The Armored Transport's good. Skullcrack's not great. I think it's got to be the Swine. I like the faster drops, but Gruul can really overpower with the big creatures, which is part of why I like it as well. So we'll take this Swine here and see how things go. Ripscale Predator. Well, he's in our colors. He's not great. Not great at all. But I don't see anything else here that we can really use. Forced Adaptation's not super wonderful. In fact, it's pretty bad. So we'll take this guy. Wasteland Viper. Wow. This guy or Adaptive Snapjaw. Pretty tough choice. I think I'm going to take the Viper. And there's another Swine, and there's a Spire Tracer. Actually, I really like the Spire Tracer. He's not super amazing, but if you get a Madcap Skills on him, and that other green aura that gives him hexproof, he becomes hexproof, unblockable, and swinging in for 4 damage every turn. So that's a lot of cards to stack onto that little Spire Tracer. And of course you're running a risk doing that, but it works out okay, surprisingly. Or it has in the past. For me, it worked out okay. So I've seen lots of people just take the best green, red, and white spells that they can get and run Gruul Boros. And that might just be what we want to do here. This Urbis Protector puts a 4/4 flyer into play. Unfortunately, she costs 2 white. So I'm not super excited about that. So maybe I'll just take the Prism here. Is a fine card. There's a shiny Knight of Obligation. Here's a Guild Gate for us, but I think I'd prefer to take the Ember Beast. our land is looking, our mana costs are looking pretty good, so I'll keep the creature here. And hopefully, since we're in Gruul, we should have enough creatures to make this Ember Beast worthwhile. So he should never be stuck there out on his own. At least that's the plan. None of these are very good. I don't really like this Foundry Street Denizen that much, but I'm going to take him over the Rebirth. So our creatures are tipping the high end of the mana scale. I'd like to get some more low-cost creatures if I can track them down. That 2/2 First Striker would be great if she comes back around, but I doubt that'll happen. Since I'm running a creature strategy, I'm going to take the Riot Gear. We will take the Hold the Gates just in case we go into white at all, which I'm going to leave open. That's kind of fun. We're not going to play it. I feel like maybe we're getting hated out of our colors, but maybe there just weren't that many cards in our color to go. I'm not too sad about what we have so far. I do like these swines. We've got 4 Blood Rush cards there, which is good. We got 1 great piece of removal. I like Ground Assault. It only targets creatures, but that's fine. Oh, the Wrecking Ogre is amazing. Amazing. So, blood rushing this guy for double strike on a big guy. That's good game right there. Of course, the Burning Tree Emissary is good as well. Someone else is definitely going to pick her up, but our pick is definitely the Wrecking Ogre. There's some great Simic stuff here. Cloudfin Raptor, Mind Eye Drake, or Dimir, I guess, but... Ooh, Gyre Sage. That's good too. And look, there's more good blue. We're stuck between the Gyre Sage and the Slaughterhorn. The Slaughterhorn's pretty great. Actually, we can Blood Rush the Slaughterhorn for +3. This is a tough choice. Being able to ramp the Gyre Sage isn't necessarily nothing. Oh, goodness. I'm going to take the Gyre Sage. Oh, the Rust Scarab. Totally amazing. Boros Charm. Totally amazing. Big Guy is amazing. Armored Transport's good. Adaptive Snapjaw's good. Scorchwalker's good. This is good for us. But the Rust Scarab is the way to go. I can't tell you how many times this has come down against me and totally messed up my game, especially if I'm playing control. And it's just hard to deal with a 4/5. So we're already pretty heavy on our mana curve, but we're going to keep that. Greenside Watcher, we don't have any gates yet, unfortunately. I think the Miming Slime is the way to go. For 3, we could get a nice fatty. We'll see, but taking it. Groll Keyrune. I really like the Groll Keyrune. Probably over the Scorchwalker. I like that +5 Blood Rush. Oh, the Fire Fist Striker too, huh? Man. Tough choices. I do want... something that's not susceptible to removal. We'll take the key rune here. Hindervines. I've done funny things with this card, but it's really not very playable. I did win a game with that card once, but I probably shouldn't have. And I didn't win the match, so I don't know if it matters that much. Skinbrand Goblin is a 2/1 1-drop, or it's a 2/1 2-drop. Or we can Blood Rush for +2/+1. I think Ember Beast is a better creature for us right now. Zertaza Swine, another Zertaza Swine. We could just have a bunch of Zertaza Swines. Or we could have Burst of Strength, which is sort of like a removal. Or it can be. But that's a tough choice, I think. Oh man. I think taking the creature's a better bet. I dunk these guys. Nice 5/4s. Alpha Authority or Ivy Lane Denizen. I like this hexproof and can't be blocked by more than one creature. That could be really great on our creatures, actually. But this Denizen's also pretty amazing. We'll take her. We're going for a really strong creature-based strategy. We'll take the resistance in the sideboard. And take this Aristocrat. I use that Aristocrat to beat Gruul. In my last game, my last Gatecrash, because I could give her protection from red anytime they tried to kill her, and she had a Gift of Orzhova, so she was swinging above their heads with lifelink, and they couldn't get rid of her. So that was pretty great, actually. We'll take the Scorchwalker. Our creature count's looking pretty good. We're still a little light on our low casting cost creatures. I wouldn't mind getting some more speed. Once we get up in this high end here, we've got lots of good value creatures. And I am excited, of course, about that Wrecking Ogre, who wins games out of nowhere. So, Skinbrand Goblin. Predator's Rapport is fine. We'll just put that in the sideboard for now, though. With these big value creatures, like Ripscale Predator, sometimes being able to gain 11 life when your opponent doesn't expect it can be pretty good, especially if you're against another aggro strategy. They might go all in trying to kill you and not expect that you're just going to gain 11 life and they can't do anything about it. Most of the time, though, it doesn't accomplish exactly what we want, which is just to be the aggressor and get the beat down. It's really more of a defensive spell. So we don't put it in the main unless we don't have better stuff. But we're looking pretty good going into deck 3. I like what we have so far. So let's see what pack 3 brings us. We have a 5 drops, 3 4-drops, and a 6-drop. So we're on the high end, but hopefully once we start getting those big creatures out, it's going to be really hard for our opponent to deal with us. And that's what Gruul does. The Ripscale Predator can be nice because it's either swinging in for a lot or most likely killing 2 creatures if they block it. But of course that all depends on what they have. We're not getting much in the way of removal. Hopefully we'll see some more direct damage, maybe a mugging and a pit fight to even things out. Or some other cards. Here we go. It's Ortsov getting the 2 big cards. We get a Cinder Elemental. Ooh, and a Croconura. And a Warmind Infantry. Cinder Elemental's the pick here. He can win the game on his own when he comes out and put a lot of pressure on our opponent. Those other cards are good. And of course, Gift of Ortsova is great, but it's a double in 2 colors that we are not in. Lots of Dimir Mastermind, huh? I'm just checking how much he is worth. I just check on GoBots because they have a good search. He's worth $1. So I'm not going to worry about him too much. Cool as he is, doesn't fit in our hand. So we have a Greenside Watcher, which untaps a gate. He's a 2/1. We have the Fire Fist Striker, which is better for us than the Denizen or anyone else. So the Striker it is. Getting some of our fast creatures. Gruul Charm. Gruul Charm's amazing. Madcap skills. I really like Madcap skills, actually. But I don't know if we necessarily have the cards to run it in. Gruul Charm for the win. I love this because you can either damage all their flyers or make it so all their non-flyers can't block. And either way, it often just wins the game. So that can be amazing. If they have a lot of flyers, you can easily get 2 or sometimes 3 flyers with a Gruul Charm. It's one of those cards that people don't play around that much because they don't necessarily expect to see it. I like the way our deck is shaping up. I'd still like to see some more low-cost creatures, good value creatures, and some more removal. But we're sitting on 17 creatures right now. Our non-creatures include Kirun, Riot Gear, Gruul Charm, Ground Assault, and a Miming Slime, which is essentially really a creature. So it's 18 creatures and 4 other cards. I just realized we have Scorchwalker in play, and we get the Miming Slime. He comes in as a 5/5, which is pretty cool. Active Treason, Massive Raid, Disciple. I think the right pick for us is the Massive Raid. Though I'm torn, this is a good pack with the Shiny Disciple, the Alpha Authority. The Alpha Authority is fine, but it shouldn't get picked over some of these other things, which are nicer. I don't like active treason. I know Dan doesn't like active treason. He'll approve me not taking it. I'm taking the massive raid. Because we could use some more removal. And we have plenty of creatures to power it. Amazing that this card's still going around. A little surprising. 1000 Lashes is a great card. So there's a creature here that we can play, or a key rune we can take, or we can hate draft. We are making sure this doesn't get into the wrong hands. There's nothing else here that I really want anyway. Usually I try not to hate draft. I don't like hate drafting. But certain cards I don't like. Don't like to see played against me. Someone would take that, and no doubt I would face them. This isn't super great for us. Bomber Core, it is. So we're filling in some of our low-cost creatures, which I'm happy with. I don't like Foundry Street Denizen. I might cut him and stick with our value 2-drops. I might take out the Riot Gear as well, depending on what else we get. But I do want to make sure that we maintain quite a few creatures. Gruul should always be the horde that never stops coming. Seems like the right way to play it. So you should just have creatures on creatures on creatures until they're overrun. Croconura came around. I like Croconura. I like Croconura a lot more than Scorchwalker, who we already have. I guess Croconura has reach because it's a frog. So it can grab things with its tongue. Crowned Ceratok. Well, that's a good card. Interesting. Yes, please. So we have, among our guys, not too many that will get +1/+1 counters necessarily. But a 4/3 is not horrible. We could have a Croconura or a Gyre Sage with Trample. Or the Ivy Lane Denizen could actually power quite a bit of Trample. So that's not bad. Immortal Servitudes. Wield. Amazing. I've had that card work for me sometimes, and not other times. So it's not that surprising, I suppose. We'll take the Griffin here into the sideboard. My general hate drafting strategy, if there's nothing there for me to pick, is usually just to take creatures, because sometimes, especially in those control colors, they can be a little bit creature light, so if we just take their creatures when there's nothing better for us to pick, that can cause them problems. Incursion Specialist is pretty funny. There's nothing here we're going to play. I'll just take this guy. All right. I'll take the madcap skills. At the worst, it's usually a lightning bolt to the face. It can be hard to deal with. Especially if you're on the play, you get a first turn 1-drop and a second turn madcap skills. Ooh, Active Treason or Disciple. Disciple is such a good card. Active Treason, I feel like we're on the aggressive. Oh, we're taking the Disciple. Active Treason is probably a better card there. We're getting rid of this Corpse Blockade. Active Treason is a good pick because if they're leaving a giant blocker up to stop us, we can take it, and we not only take it, but we also hit them with it, and that wins a game. But it feels a little reactive, and I want to be proactive, which is why we're taking the creatures. So I'm pretty happy with what we have here. I'm probably going to drop the Ripscale Predator. We've got plenty of good 5-drops, and that's going to be a bit on the heavy side. And we've got some good Blood Rush, so we need to get early damage in, and then Blood Rush for the win. So we will take out the Riot Gear for now. We'll take out the Skin Brand Goblin. The Foundry Street Denizen. I don't know if even with the Key Rune we can run 16 land. Maybe we can get away with that. We have the Gyre Sage and the Key Rune. That can provide some ramp. Or we could always drop one of our 5-drops, I guess. That puts us down to 17 creatures. Really 18 with the Miming Slime. And that's probably a better bet. We don't want to be too top heavy, we want to try and get stuff out fast. So I'll take out 1 Swine. We're effectively running 18 creatures at this point. It's possible I should get rid of the Madcap skills instead. Because that often gets 2 for 1. Or it can get 2 for 1. So maybe that's what we'll do. I like madcap skills when we have creatures that are hard to block. So like that Spire Elf, who can only be blocked by flyers, or flying creatures themselves, you're effectively making it so that they need 2 flyers in order to block them. But we don't have anything like that. So we'll stick with this deck, which should do pretty well. We'll add our land. Seems good. Okay, and here we go. 19 creatures, 5 other spells, 4 other spells. Remember, this Miming Slime is essentially really a creature, so we're counting him as a creature. 19 creatures. Ground Assault, Massive Raid, Gruul Charm, and a Gruul Key Rune. And the Wrecking Ogre is here as our bomb finisher. So that's it. We'll see how it goes. Wish me luck, and stay tuned. This is Bava recording a Gatecrash draft for Magic Gathering Strat.